Thank you, Brother Vanhai, for what you shared. It was truly a blessing to me. Can you share the slides, please? Today, I would like to share something the Lord has been teaching me from the story of David and Goliath. We all know David defeated Goliath, as it says in 1 Samuel 17:49 and 51. David put his hand into his bag and took from it a stone and slung it and struck the Philistine on his forehead, and the stone sank onto his forehead. He fell on his face to the ground. I asked the Lord, how did David do this? He was just a young boy, whereas Goliath was trained as a warrior. That's what the word says in 1 Samuel 17:33. 1 Samuel 17:33. Saul says to David, "You are not able to go against this Philistine to fight him, for you are David, are only a youth, while he, the Goliath, has been a warrior since youth." I was asking the Lord how David conquered Goliath. The answer is in next two verses 34 and 35. Next slide, please. As we see in verse 34 and 35 of 1 Samuel 17, David was a small young man, faithfully tending and watching his sheep. But when a lion or a bear came into the flock, he went after it, struck it, and rescued the sheep. I believe there are two purposes behind the lions and bears in David's life. One, God was testing David whether he is faithful in this little thing of tending the sheep and fighting for his sheep. Second, God gave him those lions and bears to prepare him for fighting the big giant like Goliath. So there are two purposes which I feel God has done this in his life. In the same way, God gives us small battles, the lions and bears in our lives too, to test if we are faithful in fighting those battles, so that God can prepare us to fight the big Goliaths in our life. As Luke 16:10 says, "The one who is faithful in very little thing is also faithful in much." Next slide, please. So when I think about Goliaths in my life, I realize God uses the small lions and bears in my daily life to prepare me. Let me share a few examples. The first is the Goliath of anger. In my life, the lions and bears, the tinier version of anger, comes with like bitterness against someone, temptation to gossip, backbite, accuse someone, getting irritated or inconvenienced when small things goes wrong, like when my children misbehave, or when a AC breaks, or a flat tire. If I can stay patient and trust God in those moments, He will prepare me to face the giant of anger. The second is the Goliath of lust. The lion and bears I face here are say no to overeating or oversleeping, denying craving like sweets, fighting laziness to help my wife and at home, turning my eyes away when I'm tempted to look wrongly at a woman. If I can be faithful in these small battles, God will give me strength to overcome the giant of lust. Next slide, please. The third is the Goliath of love of money. The lions and bears in this area are comparing myself to others and feeling jealous, wanted more instead of being grateful with what I have. And what is my attitude when I face unexpected expenses? Like some years ago, my plumbing broke and I had to replace the whole plumbing system. If I can remain thankful and trust God in those moments, He will help me to overcome the giant of money and greed. Fourth is the Goliath of fear and anxiety. For me, the lions and bears are worrying about children's education, worrying about visa situation, worrying about retirement, future needs, whatnot. But if I can trust God and push away those worries, He will give me peace when I face the bigger giant of anxiety. Fifth is the Goliath of pride. Here, the lions and bears are my life, in my life are wanting recognition when I do something good, expecting gratitude from others, and feeling hurt if they don't say thank you, looking down on others' weakness and thinking that I'm better. And I wanted to win an argument. If I humble myself in the small things, God will prepare to defeat the giant of pride. Next slide, please. The sixth is the Goliath of unforgiveness. The lions and bears I face are someone who cut me off in the traffic, when a neighbor or relative speaks harshly, when a co-worker takes credit of my work, or someone at church forgets to greet me. If I can forgive quickly in those small things, God will help me to forgive when bigger wounds comes in. Seventh is the Goliath of doubt and unbelief. The lion and bear here are delayed answers, like when I pray for my parents or siblings' salvation, nothing seemed to happen. Or when I pray for healing, I'm getting healed very slowly. Or I have my own reasoning, like when I make a decision such as moving or changing jobs, I do all my calculations without really asking God and make a decision on my own. If I can trust Him in all these things, my faith will go strong enough to face the giant of unbelief. Next slide, please. I'm reminded about the story of Joseph in the book of Genesis. Before God made him governor of Egypt, Joseph was tested with many lions and bears. As a teenager, he sold as a slave in Potiphar's house. Instead of complaining, he was faithful in small tasks, managing the household well. Later, when he was unjustly thrown into prison, he didn't give up. He was faithful there too, caring for other prisoners and interpreting their dreams. Only after Joseph proved faithful in those hidden things and smaller trials, God raised him as a governor of Egypt. Next slide, please. In the same way, there is also a story of William Carey, who is called the father of modern missions. Before God used him mightily, his life looked a very ordinary life. He worked as a shoemaker's apprentice. Every day he repaired shoes at a little bench. But while doing the small work, he kept a book open beside, sometimes the Bible, sometimes a dictionary. He studied languages little by little while polishing shoes. Years later, this same William Carey went and translated the Bible into over many languages. Millions were touched because he was faithful in the small hidden task first. So brothers and sisters, whether it's David's with the lion, bears, Joseph in prison, or William Carey at a shoemaker's bench, we see the same lesson. If you are faithful in the little things and fight every little temptation in our life, God will surely prepare us for a big battle and victories. May the Lord give us grace to be faithful in the small things today, so that He may use for greater things tomorrow. Amen.